Hi boys and girls, welcome to Shared Reading. Since today is Monday and it's the start of a new week, we have a new shared reading book. Our new shared reading book for this week is Giraffes Can't Dance. Now let's see. Let's talk a little bit about the book before we start reading. The title of the book is Giraffes Can't Dance. What do we see on the cover of this book? What is something you see in the illustration on the front cover of the book? Yes, I see those things too. I see a giraffe and I see that it's nighttime out. I know it's nighttime because I can see the sky is dark and I can also see stars in the sky. What is the giraffe doing on the front illustration? Yeah, it kind of looks like he's dancing, but now I'm confused because the title says giraffes can't dance, but in the picture, this giraffe here is dancing. So, what do you think our shared reading book for the week is going to be about? This is a tricky one because the title says one thing, but then the picture shows us something else. I guess we'll have to read to find out what happens in this story. Today we're going to have a few different things we do with our book. Since it's the first day, we're going to read the book straight through, and you'll mostly do listening because the words will be new for you. When we get to some yellow Post-its that are covering tricky words, we're going to use our superpowers and clues to help us solve those tricky words. We're also going to stop at a certain point in the book and think about what's happening so far in the story. And lastly, you're going to make a prediction at a certain point in the book because your reading muscles are ready for it. So would you like to start reading our new shared reading book? Okay, me too. Let's get started. Giraffes can't dance. Gerald was a tall giraffe, whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked, and his legs were rather... Oh, there's our first yellow Post-it. Let's think about what this word might be. Let's uncover just part of the word to begin. I'm just going to uncover the first two letters. And his legs were rather... What are the first two letters in this word? What are those letters? TH. And we learned that digraph when we were in school. What sound does TH make? That's right. TH says th. Say it with me. So we know that this word starts with the th sound, and his legs were rather th. Well, what other power can we use? We can use picture power. Let's look at his legs in the picture. What are his legs? What are his legs that start with the th sound? Well, his legs are long. Long. Can this word be long? No, because long starts with the l sound. And this word starts with the th sound. Shall we uncover more of the word and try to sound the word out all the way through? Okay. All right, let's see that whole word now. Let's slide our finger under while we sound it out. In. Let's put it all together. Slide it. Thin. What's the word? What's that tricky word? And his legs were rather... Yes, the word is thin. Now that we know that tricky word, let's go back and reread the whole page nice and smooth. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked, and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees. But when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Oh, look at him. He's trying to run around. And what happened? What do you think it means to buckle at the knees? Look at what happened. Yeah, probably means to fall. When you buckle at the knees, you fall down. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single, it's time to solve a word, where every single, let's try reading and skipping over that word, and then thinking what word would make sense over here. Let's try that. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single turns up to skip and prance. Where every single turns up to skip and prance. Let's see, what do we see in this picture? Let's use picture power first this time. Yes, I see zebras and lions. What else? What else do we see here? Ooh, a hippopotamus. These are all kinds of what? What are these all kinds of? Yes, I agree. They're all kinds of animals. Let's uncover part of this word and see if it'll help us try and solve that word. Let's see. What does this word start with? What is this letter right here? Letter A. Good job. What sound does that make? Yes, A says ah. Does animals start with the ah sound? It sure does. Let's uncover more of that word and see if we keep sounding out the letters, if we still think the word might be animal. Let's take this off right here. Okay, let's get up close now. I'll help you by sliding my finger under, and that's something you can do at home when you're reading a tricky word to make sure you don't miss any sounds. Animal. Animal. Say it faster. Animal. Animal. What was that tricky word? Yes, the word was animal. Good job. Let's read the page again, nice and smooth, now that we have all the words. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. Jungle dance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. Poor Gerald. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chamsel did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel. And 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered, Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clod. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Poor Gerald. I want you to stop and think for a moment. What is happening in the story so far? Try and go in order. What happened in the beginning of the story? And then what happened after that? Turn and talk to a friend that's with you. Mom, dad, big brother, big sister, little brother, little sister, and tell them what has happened in the story so far. Sometimes it helps us to go back into the story and remind our brains what's happened so far. Now I know you don't have the book in front of you, but you can rewind this video to help you remember what has happened in the book so far if you don't remember. Now, I'm not going to read every word. I'm simply going to turn the pages really kind of quickly and just look at the pictures to remind myself about what happened so far in the story. Oh, yeah. That's right. Right? When he tried to run, he would fall. Oh, yeah, and then every year they have a dance. Oh, all the animals danced, yeah. So, what has happened so far in the story? In the story, Giraffes Can't Dance. What's happened so far? Tell me. Anything else? Can you add on? That was great. So you're right. So far, we've met a character named Gerald, and Gerald is a giraffe. And Gerald lives in Africa. That's the setting of the story. And Gerald is tall and thin, and he's really good at getting things high up. But he's not so good at moving around, especially running or dancing. And every year in Africa, they hold a special jungle dance, and all the animals do a special dance. And this year, when it was Gerald's turn, he was really nervous because he doesn't think he knows how to dance well. And all the animals made fun of him. So he left feeling really sad, really alone. Let's keep reading to see what happens to Gerald. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed A. Oh, a post-it, a yellow post-it. Excuse me, coughed A. Let's uncover part of that word. Use some sound power. I see a blend at the beginning of this word. Take a look here. What is that blend? What blend does that word start with? Yes, that is the blend CR. What sound does CR make? Krr. Can you say it with me? Krr. CR says krr. Let's use some picture power now. Do you see anything in this picture that could start with the krr sound? Excuse me, coughed A. Oh yeah, I see it too. What is that? I know. It's a grasshopper. Excuse me, coughed a grasshopper. No? What do you mean I'm wrong? What sound does grasshopper start with? Grr. Does this blend say grr? Oh, so I guess you're right. I am wrong then. This blend says crr. Do you have an idea of what this tricky word might be that starts with the crr sound, using some sound power and some picture power? Oh, you think it might be cricket? Well, let's uncover the rest of the word and see if that word makes sense. Excuse me, cough day. Cricket. Cricket. Does that word make sense with the picture? Yes. Does that word look right with the letters that are there? Yes, also. Does that word make sense when we say it in the sentence? Excuse me, cough day cricket. Yes, again. Good job solving that word. Excuse me, cough day cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music. Sorry, friends. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swinging round. Look, there he is. What's he doing? He's dancing, right? He's doing what he was afraid of. He threw his legs out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Look at that. Gerald felt so... Ready? What does Gerald feel? Look at that. What does Gerald feel? Feels happy, right? Maybe this word's happy. Gerald felt so happy. I think that might be it. Let's see. Gerald felt so happy. Happy. Is that word happy? No. What could it be that starts with the w sound? Gerald felt so What do you think? With that face, what could it be that starts with the w sound? Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing. Yes, I am dancing. I am dancing, Gerald cried. Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen!" How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. Wasn't that a great story? I love that story. I love it because it teaches us to be proud and happy of the things that we can do and that we all can learn how to do something in our own way. So since it was our first day reading Giraffes Can't Dance, I want you to practice retelling this whole story with a friend using our 5-finger retell. Who were the characters? What was the setting? What happened in the beginning? What happened at the middle? And what happened at the end? All right, friends, happy retelling. I'll see you tomorrow.